Well, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon in some parts of the world. This is an um, extra good night in other parts of the world. This is Eric Trey Muhammad, and I can't sleep. I can't sleep, and I never thought I would have this problem um, when I retired my employer. When I found a method or means to achieve and attain time freedom, one of the first things I remember when I started experiencing the reclaiming of time was sleeping hard. That was one of the things that I had done like almost immediately. I was just sleeping when I first um, left the plantation. Hey, Brother Gary McLean. As I first left the plantation, I remember that first week. I was excited, I was giddy, but I was asleep a lot. Now I don't even have that urge because your mind is operating on what can be better, how things can be made better, and what opportunities are in store, what opportunities are available. And so it's really interesting. I was just on the line with a team member in New Delhi, Brother Ravi, in New Delhi, India, and we were conversing over the opportunities that we see for ourselves inside the opportunity that we're already a part of. And it just blows my mind how illogical Karatbars and the opportunity within Karatbars International provides. I mean, it defies logic. It defies logic. And I guess the the defiance is really rooted in what we did not understand, where now we're being pleasantly overwhelmed with the facts, the truth of the matter, the truths of the matter. One, that gold is money. One, that we have a direct relationship to the creator of the money. And when you look at what we were made to chase day after day, year after year, for 20, 30, 40 years of our lives. Now, I won't say our lives were wasted, but I will say we were involved in a false pursuit because the illusion was created. The scam was in place when we came into the world, where gold is money and only a percentage of the rich knew it, and that percentage of the rich that knew it desired to hoard it and keep it for themselves and develop a residual income off of the back sweat labor and lively lives rather of the masses of people. So there was a wealth principle incorporated, but it was incorporated with an ill intent. It was desirous. That system made slaves. In many of our wealth presentations, we share a video, and that video speaks to the dreamers and the connectors, and how once upon a time the world was full of dreamers and connectors until someone came with a plan. And that plan removed the dreamer and the connector from our psychic, and we became a people who were turned into workers. And that workforce worked for 50, 60, 70 years to the point that it outgrew its usefulness or its advantage to the employee, to the worker. There was a time where gold was backed the money, or money was backed by gold. There was a time that existed. There was a time where stability was found in the world. There was a time where inflation did not exist because the cost of living was commensurate with the gold that backed the economy, with the silver that backed the economy. But when the world, the total world, came off of the gold and silver standards, that set the die. It set the doom. It drove a death nail into this current economic system. And it in its unraveling, it unleashed a series of promises that could not be kept, a series of promises that cannot be met, and a series of promises that we know inherently are destined to fail. But because we knew nothing better, we submitted and kept the illusion going. Now the jig is up. Now we have an understanding of what real money is, and we make it whether it's with sleep or awake. So, in speaking with Brother Ravi and talking about the opportunities inside the opportunity, I just feel immensely blessed that God found favor on me and my family and our fellow wealth builders to herald this opportunity to make the commission of Dr. Sykes and Karatbars International known, to give millions of people, afford millions of people around the world, literally billions of people around the world, the opportunity to save in God's money. Think about all the leaders and teachers and guides that have come into the world over the last century. Think about how many of them employed us toward or directed us toward a better lifestyle, to focus on something and someone greater than our suffering, that helped us to be encouraged through troubling times. Think about all those who paid a price to gain certain rights and privileges for societies where they were mission oriented and they stuck to their mission passionately and principally. Some lost their lives as a result of what they sought. Look at the Gandhis, look at the kings, okay? Look at the Muhammads. Look at your prophets, your warners, and messengers over centuries. Now, what do you think would happen when that message of hope, that message of salvation, that message of freedom is aligned or married onto or coupled with a vehicle that can finance the reality? That's what you have in gold. Gold is the ultimate wealth base. And the fact that to know that we are positioned to help people realize not just the lifestyle of their dreams, but we're positioned, wa alaikum salam, Brother Gregory, but we are positioned to help a people, the nations of the earth, realize their missions and their legacies. This is normally a day where I do very little to no streaming and presentations. It is Sunday here. Of course, it's almost Monday night or late Monday night in New Zealand. We were on with them early. They're 16 hours ahead of us, and I'm always trying to figure it out. But normally I don't stream on a Sunday because that day I normally decompress. Every Monday through Saturday, I'm on my Facebook page at 8 a.m. with a session known as Classes in Session. And each Friday afternoon now at 2 p.m. Eastern, I'm with the LinkedIn community and we share opportunity on that platform every Friday afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern. So those things, along with our trainings and live events, as well as the need to build your own personal business, well, it could be exhausting and sort of taxing. And at the same time, you want to reserve time for who you do all this for. Yes, there's a legacy wealth building base. There's a desire to reach out to and reach generations beyond our lifespan. But in the current dispensation, there are spouses and children and grandchildren and great grandchildren who need some time from this brother at some point in the week. So Sundays are normally reserved for that. I attend now virtually the mosque meetings held in the flagship mosque of the Nation of Islam, Mosque Miriam. Minister Ava Muhammad, the national representative, spokesperson for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, speaks this morning from there, and looking forward to that. I just felt compelled to share just how blessed we are. I listened to Dr. Harold Zeitz. Hey, Brother Duncan, Assalamu alaikum. I listened to Dr. Zeitz in a video that I shared in a presentation myself and Mr. Tyrone Best did last night for one of the wealth building teams, the phenomenal Team Audacity. And Dr. Zeitz talked about this magic paper. And he talked about how when he was a child, he was always fascinated by this, what he could do with this piece of paper, that he could exchange that piece of paper and get some ice cream, or he can exchange this piece of paper and get a toy. And he was trying to figure out, wow, why is this piece of paper so magical? What makes this piece of paper so magical that I can get things that I want by just handing a piece of paper to another person and they give me what I want? So as a child, he was fascinated with the idea of trade, barter, and commerce. And then he learned it wasn't that the paper was magic. He learned that the asset that backed the paper was the magic. He learned that the paper was backed by a gold and silver standard. So the paper was representation of the asset that was too large, too cumbersome, too heavy for the general public to carry in their wallets or in their purses or in their possessions. So the paper represented the gold that backed it. And he was able to do phenomenal things and achieve things with the attainment of that asset-backed paper. Then something else happened that was quite traumatic for a nation and a world. The world came off of the gold and the silver standard while he was a young boy. And what he witnessed after that was hardship and heartbreak and pain and suffering and abject squalor and poverty, because now nothing backed the city of money, they call it, Frankfurt, Germany, where he was living. And all of the purchasing power, the magic behind a piece of paper had vanished. And now he learned his mission, his dream. He didn't like seeing the suffering of people. He didn't like the way his mother and grandmother suffered. He didn't like the lifestyle that he had. And he was determined from that point to restore people's ability to access gold. Hence, the vision for Karatbars International was born. I remember seeing uh, gold certificates. I remember seeing dollar bills that said pay to the bearer on demand. I remember when there was known as a promissory note, and now here we are with a floating piece of paper. It's not even considered a floating dollar. It's just a floating piece of paper. It's called a Federal Reserve note. Somewhere in our class and session this week, we'll break down that whole notion about reserved note. And we watched the same products, goods, and services that are necessary and don't change much over time. We watched the same volume of it. There's no difference in the volume. There was no difference in the size. There was no difference in the service. However, it was costing more and more and more dollars, paper, than we could provide because the wages that we earned weren't earned in real asset. It wasn't earned in real money. So what we have representing money today is it's a currency that's only backed by the faith we put behind it in the hope that someone receives it. But now you go to a store and you can't even get change back. There's a coin shortage, they say. Millions of people all over the earth are storing coins in water jugs and jars and all kind of things in the hope that it will help them preserve some kind of future that they can go to a coin machine and turn it in. But the coin machines are being removed from stores because the dollar has lost its absolute ability to represent anything worthy of purchasing power. And Mr. Best, in his discussion with us this evening or last night, revealed that he went into stores and they were telling him, soon we're going to remove paper. This is a digitized nation beyond a shadow of all doubt. And now, for many people who laughed and scoffed at Dr. Sykes and his book, The Future of Money, now they understand. And we're so far ahead of time by the grace of God. We're in a position to take advantage of what we know. But we're also positioned with a responsibility to share. So the scripture says, to whom much is given, much is required. What has been given to us much in the way where we feel compelled to share this message? Because understand, our goal is not, or rather, our responsibility is not to convince anyone to embrace what it is that we do. But we do have the responsibility to share with people what God has provided through his money. So what do we know about Karatbars International? That we're ahead of time because the world has gone digital. Now, truth of the matter is the world has been digital when it comes down to the exchange of currencies and mediums for the last 40 years. But why is it just waking up in our minds now as a general rank and file, the public? It is because we were always under the illusion that the paper was money, so we were on the paper chase. And now the average wallet, I don't have my other one. The average wallet in America carries anywhere from 10 to 12 debit and or credit cards in it, right? And most of those cards are probably inoperable. They're either expired, or they're either lacking funds, or they're associated with closed accounts, or collections accounts with credit. I mean, this is the state of America right now. The world of Karatbars has a debit card. It's a MasterCard. We have a private partnership with MasterCard, and that partnership allows our commissions to build and allows us to utilize the card to handle our day-to-day activities, because we earn a residual income and are referring people to the opportunity to save gold. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in his book of comments and quotes, his passages of truth in the Farrakhan 2.0, he speaks about the acquisition of gold and silver. And I'm paraphrasing, but he says that while the dollar still has some value, get all of the gold and silver you can. He said, if you cannot afford to get gold, get silver. Now, why is that so important? Well, first of all, gold and silver is money. Gold is God's money. Silver is God's. Silver is a utility metal. The utility metal of silver allows it to be exchanged, but not at the par level of gold, because gold represents the highest quality of money. So the Bible mentions gold 417 times. I think gold is mentioned somewhere between 13 and 15 times in Quran. Silver is mentioned 320 times in Bible, and money is mentioned 120 times. However, at no point does the scriptures mention the exchange of paper, the exchange of linen, the exchange of cotton or inks as money, or more importantly, God's. Even in the promise of heaven, even in the promise of hereafter, streets are lined and paved in gold. What is the hereafter? In my humble estimation, the hereafter represents what we're experiencing now. After this economy falls, what will our road be paved with? What will exist in our world, in our society? See, because right now, we're going through a world reset. A world reset. Not just the resetting of societal norms, because there will not be a return to and work for many people who are now on the rolls, who are enjoying the rolls of the unemployed. Unemployment, they say, has topped 50 million people. The truth of the matter, hey, Sister Sharon Clark, the truth of the matter is there were close to 20 million unemployed on the rolls before the pandemic, before the sheltering in place, before the shutting down of jobs. Now they're trying to be conservative and say there are 50 million. You know, there's a saying that when white people catch a cold, black folks have pneumonia. Why? Because we're the underclass. Hey, Sister Veronica Kirby Burrows. I love your maiden name. Glad to see you. We represent the underclass. Okay, so when white statistics come out for white America to show the unemployment rate, you know that per capita we represent the majority of it, because making up 11 to 12% of the population of America, black people have always been at the bottom. Now, I'm not saying that we don't achieve in society. What I'm talking about is the dynamic of the workforce and the dynamic of the economy and the dynamic of wages and the earning of wages. America has claiming 50 million unemployed, but they already had 20 million unemployed, and now you have 80 million out of work. How can you possibly only be 50 million unemployed with announcing growth in the stock market, in your bond yields, in your what do you call it, Nasdaq and Dow? My father used to tell us that they don't lie some of the time, they lie all of the time, and when they're caught telling the truth, it's a result of a double lie. Why are we so widespread alert about the COVID-19 crisis and the coronavirus? It is because that it actually exists. There's something going on. People are dying. People are falling ill, and we're prayerful. I went to a funeral yesterday at 2 in the afternoon. I went to a funeral the day before at 10 a.m. I went to another funeral on Thursday. When I'm sharing with you that we are aware of the crisis and we are aware that people are losing lives and people are losing grip of how to handle it because it didn't begin with us. And the remedies that America is trying to purport are remedies that really exacerbate, because you want to be seen as a world leader and a comforter. But the truth of the matter is, you don't have a grip on that which you don't understand. The whole world was made to sit still, not just America. The whole planet has been made still. If you're not responsible for stopping the world, then you can't possibly have the solution unless you repent for those things that brought the world to a grinding halt. Anyway, so the pandemic is real. I do believe that more is being made of the pandemic in a way to disguise, I'm talking about America's vantage point, disguise the crisis that is also burgeoning. In the world, we've seen runs on the banks before. We've seen what happened when Greece declared bankruptcy twice. We saw what happened and what's happening right now in Venezuela, where they're trying to get a grasp of the economy because their dollars have fallen to nothing. The average lifespan of fiat currency or paper money is 23 years for any nation. That's the average lifespan, according to Dr. Sergio Rosell. America dollar has existed now for 50 years. It's the longest run of currency. And it's established now as the global currency. But here's the problem. No paper has ever survived the life of a nation, because the paper has the same commonality in America that it does anywhere in Europe, that it does anywhere in Africa or Asia and in the Arctics. It has the same India. It has the same Asia. It has the same commonality as all of the world's fiats. At any point, they can all fall to zero. That doesn't exist with gold. That doesn't exist with silver. You will always have value. So when we're urged by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to get all the gold and silver that you can while the dollar still has some value, I would think it would behoove you to do that. I read of his teacher's work, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he taught us in this book, Fall of America, chapter 20, The Decline of the Dollar. He said that America and England sealed their doom when they came off of the gold standard, that it would guarantee 100% inflation. Think about it. Your dollar that you earn today cannot outpace the day-to-day cost of living. We're speaking right now to you and speaking with you while we're talking. The increase in the cost of living is happening while we speak. The U.S. debt clock is off the Richter scale with all these red blotches as to how much debt is running per millisecond. And the world is in need of a better way. And Karatbars International provides it. We are the world's largest providers of gold, 24 karat 999.9 bullion in small, friendly, affordable, transactionable weights. We have now, basically, because of the fall of nations and currencies and so-called monies, we are now on the verge of cornering the market of cryptocurrency because we have the world's only gold-covered stablecoin and we have the world's only gold-backed utility coin operating in its own ecosystem. We're a totally decentralized entity. That means that we're not dependent on the central banks of the world. Privacy is the new order. We have our own phones and laptops where the phone is our K1 phone. This phone, you see it here, is a privacy key. All right. Our laptop, the WIM, represents our bank. The phone is our teller. And we operate in an unhackable, privately run technology that doesn't allow for people to eavesdrop, doesn't allow for people to gain access to your ledgers, that doesn't allow people to manipulate or get in between your transactions. We are under a totally free new privacy order. Privacy is the new world order. That's our impulse, folks. You see? Privacy is the new order. The laptops will ship soon. And we have now on the verge, you'll see it in a couple of days, known as the Evo. The Evo is our AI or artificial intelligence, our bot trader that allows us to move and access cryptocurrency and coins and run and control a market. We have the V999 coin, the stable coin, the gold covered coin that allows us to stabilize any volatility in our exchanges or any exchanges we're a part of in the world, because when the volatile movement of crypto occurs, you can move your crypto before it tanks and put it in a stable coin that holds its price or its value until you're ready to reintroduce it to the market. That's what happens with USD Tether. That's what Tether does. It's known as a stable coin. We don't know what backs Tether, but we do know that it's matched 1 for 1 or dollar per dollar. So if you're moving $9,000 of Bitcoin out of circulation, you put it in the stable coin, then you know you secured $9,000 in the Tether. And when the volatility leaves or you feel comfortable enough to go ahead and acquire Bitcoin again, then you can move that money from the Tether and put it back into that market of volatility. Okay? That's the power in trade. But it's a flat line because it's matched only to the dollar amount. But when you have a stable coin, a mainnet circulation, when you have a stable coin that allows you, that's covered in gold, the gold can never fall below, the coin rather can never fall below the gold, the value of the gold that backs it. Gold will never fall to zero. And gold has the ability to do what Tether and others cannot do. That's right. It has the ability to go up. We're the first stable coin where you could actually earn a profit by leaving that money on that coin. Here's another kicker. The stable coin carries your personal signature because you create the stable coin by exchanging your gold to cover it. And your gold now moves through the cryptocurrency arenas and through the space, and then you release that coin into the market space, and you earn a commission, a fee, every time that coin is touched and moves in the exchanges for life. He told us what it is. It was a boring read, but boy, when you see it come to life, it makes all the sense in the world now. I want you to go to karatbars.com, the homepage, and you'll get a free download of chapter 5 of this book, Crisis and Catastrophe. And it shows how you should shore up your household, how you can protect yourselves in this kind of time. If you have power outages, if you have sheltering in place, if you have pandemic, do you understand this man wrote this long before the pandemic came into play? This is the kind of anointing that is in front of us. This is the kind of anointing that's in front of us, folks. I just couldn't sleep. I couldn't. I'm speaking to New Zealand. I'm speaking to India, and I come off of those calls losing my mind because it's just the fact that it's not so much the illogical aspect about Karatbars and all the opportunities where it doesn't make sense to a lot of people. That's not what's illogical. I think what it really is that I am so humbled and understanding that God chose us as wealth builders to provide this message. And I know I'm not deserving of this. I know I can be a better servant. I know I can be a better provider. I know I can be a better brother, a better man, a better steward. I know I need to. And God still found favor on a brother. I think that's what really overwhelmed me in this and produced this talk. I had to flush it on out. I appreciate you. But Karatbars, folks, it's free to join. It's your own business. It's a global economy. There are no levels, so your income is unlimited. It's your own business, so they're flexible hours. It's willable. It's an heritable apart assets. Anything you do in Karatbars is an asset producing and income producing activity in the accumulation of the asset, which is gold. You can leave it for your loved ones. You can leave it in your business, and generations will be better down the road well after we're gone because we came today. It's your own business. Hey, Brother Warren Wirtz, it's your own business. So you have no overhead. You have no employees. You have the opportunity to build legacy wealth by saving 1 gram of gold at a time. If you can save 1 gram of gold a month, get a package and tell 2 other people, guess what? You'll be rich. And the fact that that's simple math, we're taught as Muslims about Islam, which means peace, is religion of peace. And it's said to us in our lessons that mathematics is Islam and Islam is mathematics, that it can be proven at no limit of time. When you utilize the formulas associated with the wealth building culture, you will see God all in it. You will see and understand that God is the ultimate networker, and you will see that God has his hand on this opportunity because he's given you what the world cannot. He's giving you his gold. It's a free gold savings account. And if you don't understand it, that's okay. But if you join onto it now, it's free. When you join onto it, at least you're positioned to benefit from learning, from benefit from doing the due diligence from inside the opportunity. Don't just Google and hope that you're going to know more about the opportunity than those that are in it. You're robbing and depriving yourself. It's just a suggestion because we're not in the business of trying to convince anybody. We just have to make a commission known. This is our truth. This is a wealth ministry. Karatbars International offers a level playing field because we are making gold available and affordable to the masses of honest people to build their wealth and get out of that system of debt. There's no other vehicle on the planet that can do that for you. So follow the guidance of all that's come before you. Follow the guidance of all your scriptures. Follow the guidance of all the leaders you uh, revere, that you hold in high esteem, and know that if they only had the vehicle to finance their own revolution, it would have been realized by now. If Dr. King had the vehicle, if Mahatma Gandhi had the vehicle, whomever offered that train of thought, that logic that allowed you to see hope, if they only had the vehicle to finance their own freedom and not be dependent upon an enemy, it could have been realized. You're here today, though. You and I are disciples, descendants of opportunity, disciples and descendants of hope. We're disciples and descendants of the abundance that has been guaranteed to each and every one of us. You can't read a scripture and that says, "Ye are all God's children, children of the Most High God," and not reflect your Godhood. Hey, Brother Darren Dismuke. We're positioned, folks. Take hold of the opportunity. You cannot convince anyone. You definitely shouldn't try to convince yourself that if you do for the next 10 years what you did for the last 10 years, that you'll get better results. Not in this world. It's gone. It's done. Out of the 50 million that they alleged are only unemployed, 50% of them will never be able to go back to the job that released them because that job no longer exists. You know the power of the ark? The ark, Noah's ark, is really a covenant with God and his creation. That's why all of creation was allowed on the ark. That's why all the creation was allowed to come as a pair, as duos. Why? Because it takes two to duplicate. And it's on an ark. That ark never left the dry land that it was built on. It didn't travel somewhere else and dock in another port. It was an ark of refuge. You get on that ark and on that same land that people mocked and laughed at you and ridiculed you and scorned and offered scorn and condemnation for building a structure that seemed crude, that seemed primitive, that they saw no value in because they never saw rain. In other words, rain and water can represent inspiration and knowledge, and they never saw it coming. They were caught up in their own ego, and they decided to party and play and celebrate and being given in marriage and drunkenness, drunk off of a false sense of power, off a false sense of reality, off of a false knowledge base that their power represented their money and it represented their godhood, and there was nothing further from the truth. So it got to the point that the stench in the nostrils of God brought it all down. You have a Pharaoh over the government here whose heart is hardening by the day. And if you can't see it, you're blind. But I'm trying to help you to see that it does not matter if you are a wealth builder building toward that promise from the God. So get on the ark, enjoy the refuge, continue to build on the opportunity. And as the floodgates open and as the weather and the storm clears, there'll be a world for us to step out into on that same land with new life, new vegetation, new opportunity, and it'll be done in pairs because it takes two to duplicate. Get your free gold savings account. Get back to the one who offered the opportunity to you. Get you a package, Saving Gold, tell two people. Get your account, Saving Gold, tell two people. Get your account, Saving Gold, tell two people. Get your account is free. Saving Gold, you're exchanging, that's free. Tell two people to do what you do. And you'll be staying up at night like I am, trying to figure out, wow, I didn't see this coming, but I'm sure grateful. Hey, Sister Amira, thank you, family, for allowing me to regurgitate my joy over the blessing. I just couldn't sleep. I couldn't understand it. I just don't know why God chose me to be a part of this magnificent opportunity. But I am eternally grateful, and I'm going to prove it every step of the way. Because also what's associated with this opportunity, it's not just the money, it's the value you can give to a community. We teach and train every single day. We give encouragement and hope and guidance. And what do we get in return? Value. There are people that share ways with us who have never been enclosed or sheltered in place before. We learn how to can food. We learn how to create gardens. We learn how to store our waters. We learn how to sew. We learn how to knit. We learn how to communicate over technology. We are learning so many new things in preparation for inheriting a new order or a new world. You have to be able to see the blessings in all of this. We've been made to shelter in place, to stay still so we can see what's important to the universe. What does the universe want us to embrace? It wants us to embrace the gift of abundance. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said a few years ago that he needs 100 millionaires. We got that in Karatbars now. We can offer buoyancy to movement. We can be that other refuge. We can be that duo where you have mission, revenue, mission, finance, purpose, wealth. Boy, y'all better get in where you fit in. It's free to join. That's right, Brother Warren, it's necessary. It's free to join. You can accelerate your incomes. You can accelerate your cash flow. You can build legacy wealth. And you can do it all from the comfort and the safety of your home. I'm talking to New Delhi, India this morning before coming on the stream with you. I'm talking to Auckland, New Zealand before coming on the stream to you. I'm talking earlier in the morning to London, England, and to Belgium, Brussels, Belgium, before coming on the stream to you from my phone. Our phone. Get back to the one who offered this opportunity to you and let them know you're ready to get started. And I encourage you, many people have found favor on the things that I've been blessed to share of this opportunity. Wealth builders, take advantage of it. If you find the same kind of favor, if you think it has some merit, Share it out with people and put your referral link on it and let people join you in the opportunity. Let them, help others, help themselves, and it will reward you. It's rewarding me. Let's extend that blessing. You see a live stream that you like from myself or from Mr. Best or Mr. Dalco or any of the leaders. Sister Veronica, I want to see you do something. Brother Darren, I love when you get out here and do things. You know, when you see these presentations, you should share them and put your link on it and send it out because all of us represent another level of community. All of us don't have and share the same friends, even though we're friends and family to each other. I have 5,000 friends on this particular Facebook page. I have 12,000 on another Facebook page. I have 7,000 on another Facebook page. I have 10,000 in LinkedIn and a few more thousand in Instagram. All of you have this same kind of outreach, but not everyone's the same people. So share it in all of your outreach and reintroduce them to the opportunity. That's right, brother. Cut, copy, paste, but make sure your link is there. Refer. We gave out a class assignment in class and session this yesterday, Saturday. Okay, and that assignment was and is this week, everybody do one stream, one live stream, whether it's 30 seconds, whether it's a minute, whether it's 2 minutes. If you've never done it before, it's okay. Fix the time, say Tuesday, 8 o'clock, or Tuesday, 9:30, or Tuesday, 1 p.m. I'm going to do a live stream. And it may be 2 minutes. It may be 2 hours. It's up to you. It will get good to you eventually. You see what's happening with me. And then invite the people that you're connected to, people you never reach out to in your friends list, people that you're connected to and don't even know who they are. Say, hey, I'm Eric Muhammad, and I'll be doing a live stream next Tuesday at 1 p.m. from this page. I hope to see you. You can even give a subject matter, what Karatbars has done for me, why I joined Wealth Builders Worldwide, how I make a living from home. You don't think a world wants to know this? And to know it from you, it puts over such a genuine approach. So here you are, you're on there in your 2 minutes, and you say, hey, even if you just need to read it from a piece of paper, get a piece of paper, read it from a piece of paper and say, yes, I'm so and so and such, and I'm here representing Karatbars International because I want to be free. And you can too with your free gold savings account. You can just get something to read on and do it. You don't have to be looking up in the camera. You don't have to, okay, you might want to, spruce yourself up a little bit. You feel compelled to do it. That's okay. You want to put your best foot forward in anything you do. Just give it from here. Stumble through it. Stutter through it. Do everything. Be nervous. But live in your truth and tell your story. Wa alaikum salam, Akanola from the Yard boy from Trinidad. What's up, rude boy? The steel pan sensation. Live your truth. Live your truth. Let people, help people around the world, help billions of people around the world to know that they're not by themselves. You know how many people are out here wondering if they're the only ones that think the way they do? You know how many people out here in the world are wondering right now, is there a better way? And then when you share with them your way, they find themselves in common with you and understand they're not by themselves, and they're going to unite with you to help build a new reality for themselves and for others. Send your link. Share your message. Don't make your wealth building opportunity an ancestral one. Don't make it one where you just become this close-knit clique that you enjoy pontificating and beating off on each other from your gums about the opportunity, but never sharing with the people who deserve it, who need it. That's important. Don't do that to yourselves. Allow the money to be a byproduct of the value you provide to the total community. This is the first time ever in the life of human existence that we're able to communicate with an entire world from the safety and comfort of our home. So we don't have to step out into exposure with the pandemic. We don't have to step out into the world of lack, want, anxiety, and strife, but we can work from home. Wa alaikum salam. Do you understand the power of what you have? I mean, I sit at home and communicate with the world. Did a LinkedIn presentation on Friday, right? It's on my YouTube channel. 125 people joined from Ireland, one from the UK, one from Russia, one from the Netherlands, 142 people outside the United States created a list for me. We have more in common than not. We have more in common with the world than we have different. You see? And this is our opportunity to share that commonality, to build a greater base for everyone. Karatbars is a world that's good for everyone, folks, because it's a level playing field with an honest approach, with an honest acquisition. Gold will keep you honest. It is an equal yoke. Gold will keep you honest. Build on the power of what you have by building your outreach. Do a live stream. Talk to people. Just get on, even if you want to hide your face, just get on and say, listen, I want you to look at the realmoney.info and learn more about this opportunity. Thank you. And build your courage. It takes courage to be rich. It takes courage to be wealthy, because you have to deny self in ways that you have never known. A. Bussolini Jenkins. J. Bussolini Jenkins. Ahu to you, soldier. Wa alaikum salam, Brother Roland Muhammad. You know, we have more in common than we have different. So share with the world. When you put out a post and remember to put your link on it. People are looking at you. When you share other comments from other leaders or other fellow wealth builders who have some truth to share about the opportunity, if it resonates with you, it's going to resonate with others. Share it and put your link on it. Talk to the world. There'll be a great cross-pollination coming when you share with your 5,000 people, and you share with your 4,000 people, and you share with your 20,000 people, and I share with my 2,000 people. What happens? It's a cross-pollination. There'll be more honey made. Man, you have more in common with the world than you have different. I've been blessed to travel many parts of the world, and I've seen it for myself. I've been to countries, lived in countries where I did not speak the language, but I spoke the language. Do you understand that you have a universality about you that resonates with everyone? And when you have an honest vehicle to honestly represent a truth from the God you serve, you'll find that you have more in common than you have different. And you have a world that will embrace you. So there's greater protections in Karatbars than you could ever know. There's greater protections in handling gold than you can ever know. In fact, I'll say this, and I promise I'm going to end on this. You know, in the scripture, there's a prophet, a gentleman named Job. Job is spelled Job, but Job is not Job. Job is defined as a people. Job is defined as my servant. That's how God defines Job. When he's talking to Satan, Satan is walking through the land and God recognizes him. Hey, Satan, what goes, man? Why are you here? He said, oh, I'm just walking to and fro, seeking to devour anybody I can. In truth, you got a lot going on here, Lord, but if you didn't have that hedge of protection around half these cats, I'd feel hell with them all. He said, well, have you considered my servant? And he named him Job. Have you considered my servant? My servant is the role, and Job is the description of the role. Have you considered my servant? Have you considered my servant? He said, yeah, I checked him out. But if he didn't have that hedge of protection around him, as gold is a hedge that protects you against inflation, right? If you didn't have that hedge of protection around him, I'd get him to cuss you to your face and die. He said, really? So it wasn't a wager. It was just showing Satan that he wasn't God and God is who he is. What did Job have as a hedge of protection? He had the love of family and community. He had land mass. He had wealth in abundance. He had cattle and livestock. He was respected and revered all through the land. And he had supreme health. And then the tide was reversed, where everyone around him began to see Job as a failure. Even his family came to him and said, look, dude, you're not going to make it, man. You got all these sores. I don't even want to, look, just give it up, man. Curse God and die. He didn't do it. Through all the pain and through all the anguish and all the loss and all the suffering and all the displeasure expressed by family, friends, and colleagues, the loss of his livestock, the loss of his wealth, the loss of the appreciation and admiration of a world, Job would not curse the one that showed him it was all possible in the first place. And he held on to God, and he's restored with more than what he had. This is where you are. Don't curse the God and die. Be Job. The devil, when the hedge was removed, Job became Job for the people. And that's what we worked all these years. Now it's time for us to Job up. We're the Job now. No, we're not jump out of bed. We're not just over broke. We are the servant that should be considered. All right, got it out of my system. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your morning. Some of you woke up to find me here. It was a rant. That won't happen all the time, but I will be back tomorrow, class in session, 8 a.m. Eastern on this platform, Monday through Saturday. And then again on Friday at 2 p.m. on the LinkedIn channel. I'll be on my LinkedIn channel there, speaking to the LinkedIn community. Peace and power. I'll see us, those of us who will be with Minister Ava Muhammad at 11 p.m. Eastern. I will be there as well. I look forward to our training this evening, the fast track training on www.goldrocks.info. That training will take place at 9 p.m. Eastern on the Gold Rocks platform. Stay in love, stay in unity, stay in peace, stay empowered, stay encouraged, stay blessed. Forward.